Hey everybody, welcome back to FeedbackLoop. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Joey.
And this is our 100th episode.
And we didn't plan anything for it.
I was so prepared for. I knew it the whole time and was not abruptly surprised by Joey saying that it was the 100th episode after we established that I was the one starting this episode because I didn't even know who was starting.
Yeah.
These past 2 weeks, it's been 2 weeks since we recorded, and it feels like it's been like a month at least.
Yeah. We've lived a lifetime in these past 2 weeks.
We have. What a fucking lifetime it has been. This week, we're just going to get right into it.
Yeah, go for it.
Because as Joey mentioned, we had no plans for our 100th episode, which is maybe bad on us, but we're just going to get right into it. Last week, I said that I was going to be listening to Animals as Leader's new album, Parrhesia, which came out that Friday, as well as Cannon's new album, Fever Dream, that came out on the same Friday. I did listen to both of them, however, not a whole lot.
Yeah.
The vibe wasn't there for me. I mean, Animals as Leaders is great. There's no denying that. It is not a bad album by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't hitting the vibe for me. Cannon's Fever Dream is good, but also not really doing a lot for me at the time. I also mentioned that I was going to be listening to Sigrid Sucker Punch. I'd forgotten completely about that. so that's from previous promises. Not doing so great so far. I did listen to the first two a couple times, but more interestingly for me, there were two big ones that have kind of stuck with me over the past couple weeks, and I think they might have actually just come out on Friday, both of them. I don't remember this past Friday, which means I have this weird like week and a half of nothing happening, and then half a week of me just listening to two albums on repeat, which is wild. But one of which is Kill the Noise. Released a new album called Embrace, and I actually don't know when the album released. I should have looked it up, but I stumbled onto it. I was like, hey, he has new music. I haven't listened to him since like 2015 or whatever.
Oh Jesus!
And listened to that album. Really dug it.
Nice.
It sticks out. I mean, it might just be sticking out because I haven't been listening to a lot of electronic music as of late. And it kind of explores a lot. Like each track is kind of in a different genre almost. I mean, it still very much has his like signatures to it, and you can tell it's like his music. But he's doing a lot of exploration, I guess, with his sound. So his album Embrace, very cool. Super into it. I listened to that a handful of times this past weekend as I was driving around.
Well, I'll write that down so I can listen to it because. Jeremy, so you were talking about not making promises from the other week. I didn't keep my promises either. I'm not going to lie. I listened to a little bit more of Godspeed You Black Emperor, but not enough really of note. I didn't listen to anything else that I said I did because I was off work all week last week because it was my daughter's spring break, so we were doing a whole bunch of stuff. I wasn't really like... I have this weird relationship with music in the sense that if I'm not working, I'm not like typically trying to stimulate my brain with music.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not like
you have a family, like you're doing things with your family most of the
I'm not looking for new stuff. And if I try to if I'm driving in the car, that's another time I would be listening to new music. If I try to put on some like crazy experimental shit, like a 6-year-old and my lovely partner is not going to appreciate like having a nice family road trip where it's just like some crazy doomer shit going on or like some super pumped up crazy stuff. But
normies can't understand greatness.
Yeah, or that's what I keep telling myself. But I didn't keep my promises, but I did listen to the new Beach Bunny single Fire Escape quite a few times, and I actually really like it. I had just completely missed that they released a new single until you so nicely pointed out to me.
I missed it too. It came out, I think I called it out on like Saturday or like Friday or something, and it released a few days earlier, which it surprises me that both of us missed it. I mean, I guess we only missed it by a few days, but yeah, I also listened to it and really enjoyed Fire Escape, and it kind of made me. I did go back and revisit Blame Game. I mentioned that I was going to on our Discord. Blame Game is weird. Yeah, I'm still not sold on Blame Game.
Okay,
I think it has two great tracks, one okay track, and then one just like meh kind of track for me.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I'm still excited because presumably there's a new album coming,
Yeah.
and I really like because Oxygen and what was the new one? I'm sorry, you
Fire
just said
Escape.
it. Fire Escape. They both have similar single art to
I
them.
can't remember what the new album name is, but they have released what the album name is. I saw it on Genius earlier.
I'm so far behind then.
Yeah, because I was looking up. I'm I'm trying to record a cover of Rear View, so I had
Hell
to
yeah.
like make sure that I actually knew the lyrics to Rear View, which I didn't. It's called Emotional Creature. That's the new album.
Emotional
Apparently,
creature. Hell yeah.
they've released some like song names are out and everything. So hope it's expected July 22nd of this year.
Okay.
So I'm
Good time.
pumped for that. But I revisited Oxygen, their other single, because of Fire Escape, and I mean, I liked it, but I wasn't super into it the first time I heard it. But going back to it, I like it more. So I'm very excited
Yeah.
for the new album.
Yeah, I'm excited. And we're going to be seeing them in May
Yeah, May
next month. The
25th, I think.
25th. Yeah, I think in Louisville.
Oh, with Kai Voss.
Yeah, whoever
I
that
think
is.
yeah, I have no idea. I should
But
look
so
into
that'll be,
him, her, them. I don't know. I should look
yeah.
into that
It should
person.
be a good time though. Cause I saw Beach Bunny was it last year or earlier this year? I don't know. I saw Beach Bunny recently
Yeah.
live for my first time, and it was a good experience all around. Even though I've pretty much exclusively listened to Honeymoon
Yeah.
and the Prom Queen EP. Obviously, we did an episode on a while back, but so they were playing some of the like older stuff that I wasn't into, that I wasn't like familiar with, and then they were playing like some of the newer stuff that I was like, yeah, I'm kind of into this. And even they played a bunch from like Blame Game, because I think it
Yeah.
was probably promoting that. But it was a good time, so that's going to be fun,
Hell
and
yeah,
I'm
it
also
is.
looking forward to that album. What else did you listen to in the
Um,
past couple weeks?
so there's two albums specifically that I always try to listen to whenever I'm like doing stuff. Like
Do
they're
you have
like
specific albums that you will always go to?
yeah. Well,
Interesting.
recently, at least within the past couple of years, um, Masayoshi's. I think it's Masayoshi Takanaka is how you pronounce his name. It's his album All of Me, and then Tatsuro Yamashida's For You album. They're
What
like
kind of music is it?
it's like Japanese pop. Tatsuro Yamashida's more like pop rock type, a little bit of like funkiness going on. He's more I don't I would consider him more pop. Masayoshi Takanaka. I always want to say Takanaka, but I feel like the emphasis is wrong on that whenever I say it. That's like me Americanizing his last name.
Maybe.
But I feel like his music is more on the funk side of pop funk, like Japanese. But I feel like they're pretty good crowd pleasers, so I can put them on in the car with everybody else in there. And they kind of just get me ready for a day of like doing things, because I'm a
Yeah.
very sedentary person who like even if I'm excited about doing something, literally just doing anything is hard to like
Yeah.
get up. And they're not like really pump you up albums, but that doesn't work
They set
on.
the vibe.
Yeah, they definitely set a vibe for just doing things. So yeah, I've been listening to a lot of them and Tatsuro Yamashida's For You album. I think it was specifically his For You album, but it was remixed with a bunch of MF Doom vocals on YouTube somewhere. So anybody out there who's looking for something cool, you can go check that out. But yeah, I listened to a lot of that recently, and it's been nice.
Hell yeah. That sounds. I think my go-to vibe check music, for whatever reason, is like electronic pop music.
Hell yeah,
When I'm trying to like, not necessarily, like I said, not necessarily like amp you up kind of a thing, but just like start the day off right,
yeah,
and kind of set the tone. I listen to like Toflo and that Charlie XCX album that I mentioned, I think last week
yeah.
or last episode, is also one of them that's kind of creeping into that kind of vibe for me. But the other, my second album that I've been listening to, and this is one that it surprised me in ways that I'm surprised that I was surprised in, I guess, and that is Necrogoblicon.
Oh, okay.
They released a new album called The Fundamental Slimes and Humors, and I have listened to Necrogoblicon before in very small amounts. They have a song called "Dressed as Goblins" that I really enjoyed at the time, just because it's like funny. They do humor metal for people
Yeah,
who are unaware. It's like comedy and like kind of like not really hardcore metal, but it was never something that was like, yeah, this is good to me. It was like, haha, that's funny. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But I listened to this album and I really fucking love it. Every track on this album is just so good. I'm finding myself enjoying it. And it's not even just like comedic good. I mean, yeah, they have comedic stylings through it, but there's still like a message to it. There's still like, it's still like they're legitimately like crafting an album to like say something. And there's like a lot of themes of like the big overarching theme is accepting both life and death throughout this album, which is something that's like so profound for me coming into Necrogoblicon with such little experience, with where Necrogoblicon was like a meme essentially for me, to find this album out of their music. And I was like, God, like I like it musically, and it like it doesn't necessarily stick within the small box that I had placed them in as far as their like metal sounds, where it's like a lot of like screaming, like, which is it's a lot of it.
Yeah,
that's what they do. I mean, it's Necrogoblicon, but there's like so much like power ballad and like power metal and just like electronic influences, and it's like it's a wild fucking album, and I'm going to be listening to it for the next 2 weeks. I guarantee it, just
Hell
because
yeah.
it's like it hit the perfect moment. It's just one of those albums that just hits you at the right time when you're in the right mood, and it sticks with you. And I'm gonna keep listening to this album for the rest of forever, I think.
Dude, that's fucking awesome. It's so great whenever an album just like hits that right pocket of time where it's like, because I mean, it's a good album, and I'm sure if you would have listened to it any other time, then it would have still been good. But it's like it hits in that right time, which is a perfectly smooth segue into.
We don't do segues anymore, and it makes me sad.
I know, no more. Well,
we need to try to segue what the other person is talking into the album title of the next album that we're going to talk about on our list. That's the new challenge. Step up our game.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and disappoint you because I'm not gonna be doing that, because the album I'm talking about is Pyroclasts by Sun. Oh,
yeah.
And so we have, I'm sure we've talked about it in our Discord channel. There's a safe space for us to share creative ideas, and Jeremy dropped a sick, deep drone like chugging riff in there, and just it reminded me of Sun, and so I was like, I'll give him a shot sometime soon, because Sun, like you were talking about with Necrogoblicon, some stuff just hits in the right time and everything. Sun is a band that does that for me. Like it's like when it hits, it really fucking hits. But then other times it's like, it doesn't do it for me. And I mean, Sun is a drone ambient, like most of their music is just like drum, drum, like guitars just chugging, and it's super cool when it's cool, but otherwise sometimes it can get kind of like boring,
grating. Yeah, for sure. On a related note, I'm sorry, you had I thought you were gonna finish up.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's like I want to see them live because of how crazy I've heard their shows are, where they come out in like robes and there's a fog machine and it's just so loud it will like break your eardrums if you don't have.
How would you react in that crowd? What would you do?
Like, you don't do anything. You just stand
there and stare at them. I feel like, because there's like in like thrash metal, right? There's a lot of energy and like the crowd's just going nuts and like moshing and shit. But for something like drone metal and especially something so like ambient and like bizarre, I suppose, or uncommon, like there's not that hype, at least in my mind. I mean, I'm sure somebody like gets really hyped up about like, oh, I know that song, like, oh yeah, I fucking love this one. But like at the end of the day, it's just like slow plodding like drone music. So like I feel like going to see that live would be wild, just from the perspective of watching the crowd interact with the band.
But please continue.
Oh yeah, so related note, earlier today, someone in another Discord server was talking about how like they were surprised to find themselves listening to a bluegrass playlist, and of course I plugged Alison Krauss and Union Station's live album, because that's a fantastic album. But I also mentioned Panopticon to him, and I was like, yeah, Joey actually recommended me this like bluegrassy thing, and I clarified ahead of time
Yeah.
Because this is not because he's going back to the quote unquote normie, right? He's not someone that would listen to anything black metal
Yeah.
influenced at all. So I clarified that. I was like, yeah, like Joey recommended me this album and I listened to it, and I think you said they're from Louisville
Yeah.
or
They're
around
from,
here.
I'm sure, I think he's from Louisville. I know he's from within like an hour of where we live. So,
Yeah. So I was like, it's a cool recommendation that Joey passed on to me. So I'm going to pass it on to you. That has this kind of like it's obviously a bit more moody and has like a lot of like black metal kind of like inspired sounds to it. So like maybe check that out. And then I realized that when I actually explained it to him, I did not mention bluegrass anywhere. So it was just like me going from recommending Alison Krauss to me recommending black metal to him, and he was just like, yeah, cool. Maybe that's not my vibe." And I was like, to be clear, it is 100% bluegrass
yeah.
influence as well. Like there was a connection there, and it was obvious in my brain because I knew that.
Yeah.
But I had to backpedal a little bit. I don't think he's going to be listening to that album, but it was a fun recommendation to share.
Yeah. Maybe that's something like if you all are taking a drive, you just casually put on in the car. It like put a few songs in between some like Willie
Yeah.
Watson or something.
Yeah, that would be wild. Coming up next for the next 2 weeks, next episode, we need to nail down a term that we're going to use for our periods between episodes.
Fortnight.
I,
Is that 2 weeks? Is
a
that what
fortnight. I feel like that's a horrible thing, but I love it. In the next fortnight, I don't have a lot of plans coming into this episode
Yeah.
of like no intentions for what I want to listen to going forward. However, I completely forgot about Sigrid being on my list from the last fortnight. So from a fortnight ago, a fortnight long gone.
I'm going to look up how long a fortnight is.
It's 2 weeks. It's got it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 2 weeks. But yeah, so maybe I'll actually check out Sigrid this time because it did spark my little pinger sensors going wild, crazy. I don't know what I'm saying at this point, but I do want to go back and listen to Sigrid some more to get ready because I think she had an album coming up. Definitely going to be listening to more Necrogoblicon as stated because this album's really clicking with me. But other than that, I don't really have plans. I do have a bunch of albums in my backlog that maybe I'll just kind of skim through and see if anything sticks out to me. But do you have any wants for the next 2 weeks? Also, I'm going to be in St. Louis for the next 5 days, so I'm not going to have a lot of time to do discovery anyway. But once I come back, I'm hoping to get into some of that. Joey, what are you listening to in the next fortnight?
Oh yeah, I looked it up, and a fortnight is 2 weeks. Dude, I fucking Googled what a fortnight was, and it gave me the answer in minutes. So I had to convert it to to days, but it is 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I'm gonna be listening to more of what was it? Beach Bunny. I'm gonna listen to more of their back catalog, and I'm gonna re-listen to Blame Game because you said you listened to Blame Game. I did not listen to Blame Game, but I plan on doing it. And I just want to get some refreshers for the concert.
Yeah.
Also, I tried listening to an album that I've listened to so many times called Harmlessness by a band called The World is a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die. And I feel like I should like this album more than I do, which is why I've tried this album like 5 times, but it's never just had like this big aha moment that other albums do. So I'm going to try more of their albums. And lastly, sometime last week, I had Sir Duke by Stevie Wonder stuck in my head just all day. So I listened to a playlist that started with Sir Duke, and it was like somebody made it on Spotify. So it was like a bunch of other songs that were kind of in that genre. And I found this guy, Brenton Wood, and he had his song called Oogum Boogum. And I listened to the album called Oogum Boogum from 1967, and I really fucking liked it. It has like a nice 60s, 70s like soul R&B pop vibe that I just really dig, which is why before we started the podcast, I was listening to Clarence Carter because it was just like, it's that kind of music. But I'm going to listen to more of Brenton Wood's music because I really liked that whole album, and I listened to it like 3 times. So I'm going to try to discover more of that.
Hell yeah, I'm into it. I will see you in a fortnight after we have. Are we changing our name to Fortnite Loop?
Yeah, dude, that'll get all the fucking clicks.
After I'm back from St. Louis, I'll probably not have an exciting next episode, just because it's all just going to be me talking about this Necrogoblicon album again and again.
Hey,
and
that's
again. Maybe I mean, I got to drive there, and I got to drive back, so like, I have at least that time, and then obviously the other week that I can still listen to music. But yeah, come back next fortnight, and we will have a new episode for you. Hopefully with less technical issues.
yeah.
And hopefully there was everything got ironed out, and there's not a lot of horrible audio for you guys. But we'll see you back here. Thank you for staying in our feedback loop.
And thank you for bye.